Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Osama Said from islamafterahmadiyya.com. Today's video is primarily a response to an email received by a person called Ibrahim Noonan, who is, I believe he's a missionary or within the Ahmadiyya organization. It's an email, it's quite a few insults here and there, and I'll get to that obviously in a moment. A few insults here and there, accusations here and there, and I'm going to do justice to this brother Ibrahim's email by addressing every part of his email, even the insulting parts. First thing I'm going to start with is everybody else is wrong, but you are right. That is arrogance. This is what this brother Ibrahim has written to me in his email. Everybody else is wrong, but you are right. That is arrogance. Brother Ibrahim, are you familiar with the slogan, love for all, hatred for none, right? And you're familiar with true Islam, Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. So Ahmadiyya is the true Islam, and the other Muslims are following false Islam. They're not following true Islam. They're either confused or they're wrong, right? So Ahmadiyya itself, the modern appearance of Ahmadiyya, the modern presentation of Ahmadiyya, it claims that it's the true Islam, and you're telling me that everybody else is wrong but I'm right, and that's arrogance. Well, that means Ahmadiyya organization is arrogant. You are basically confirming that the Ahmadiyya organization are arrogant because they say they follow the true Islam, that they only have the true Islam. All the other Muslims, well over 1 billion Muslims, are not following true Islam. The opposite of truth is what? It's falsehood. So the other Muslims are not following true Islam, they're following false Islam. So that's arrogance right there, brother Ibrahim. Second thing I want to touch on is this brother Ibrahim says, I lack basic knowledge of Islam. Basic knowledge, I mean, that's quite a hard-hitting statement, really, because basic knowledge is you're not saying I don't know all these hadith, you're not saying I don't understand the tafsir of many surahs of the Quran or something. You're telling me that I lack basic knowledge of Islam. Alhamdulillah, I have basic knowledge of Islam. I believe I have more than a basic knowledge, but I'm not an arrogant person to try and make it out that I'm some superior scholar or something like that, because even the scholar will always learn more and more things, and even that scholar will find probably another scholar who's probably more learned than him. But the key thing is they wouldn't go around there announcing that they know this and they know that and try and put people in their place. As what you're trying to do here. You're trying to say that I lack basic knowledge of Islam, which is a straight insult to me. I was born Muslim, brother Ibrahim. You were born Christian, right? I was born Muslim, alhamdulillah. And even then, I wouldn't even say anything, but you're trying to insult me. So I'm telling you, be very careful with what you say, because anybody else could say such a stupid thing back to you. And what kind of an answer is that? That means I'm insulting other converts to Islam, and I'm not going to insult other converts to Islam. I'm talking directly to you because of what you said to me. I'm saying I can say to you that I was born Muslim, and I know Arabic since I was born because I'm an Arabic person. I'm from the Middle East. So you didn't know Arabic or anything like that. You didn't know any basic knowledge of Islam before because you were a Christian. But I'm not saying this. I'm saying to you, I can say it to you because only because you are making some sort of insult at me, saying that I lack basic knowledge of Islam. Obviously, this brother Ibrahim getting upset that I say that I quote some some of these scholars who have given their verdict on this hadith La Mahdi illa Isa. He's upset that I say that I've taken a view, one of the views of one of the scholars, or more than one scholar, that they say it's fabricated. He says it is da'if. Brother Ibrahim Noonan, missionary of Ahmadiyya community, Ahmadiyya organization, says that it's da'if. Da'if means weak. So brother Ibrahim, you are happy to accept that this hadith, La Mahdi illa Isa, that you say yourself it's da'if, which is weak. And you know that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad has hinged his whole claim of being the Mahdi and Sayyidina Isa, Prophet Jesus, He's hinged his claim on being both those people on this hadith. And you are saying yourself that it's weak. What does that say about your belief? What does that say about your belief? You're happy to take such a pivotal hadith. It's so important to the Ahmadiyya Jama'at, because if this hadith didn't exist, Mirza Ghulam would have an even tougher time of trying to prove that he is both the Mahdi and Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. So you yourself, you're saying this is weak. And you're not even, I applaud you actually for saying the truth, that you say it's weak. But look at the common sense of what you're saying. You're upset that I said fabricate, but you're happy for it to say it's weak. But this is such a crucial hadith for Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. It's not like we know many of the hadith about the Mahdi and the return of Sayyidina Isa, we know many of them they're quite doubtful. Quite a few of them are doubtful. But most of the hadith, more often than not, they will show, all the other hadith, sorry, not just this one, the other hadith, they show that Sayyidina Isa and Imam Mahdi are two separate entities. They're two separate peoples, two separate characters. And they are meant to come at different times. And by the way, Brother Ibrahim, you say in your email, you say that Imam Ibn Kathir, who is very famous, I'm sure anybody who's done even slight reading about Islam would have heard about Imam Ibn Kathir. You say that he also held this view. You say in your email, are you aware that Imam Ibn Kathir also held this view? Imam Ibn Kathir, and I'll quote you from one of his books. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Imam Ibn Kathir, he's got a book. It's called Signs of the Day of Judgment. In chapter 6, it's titled The Mahdi. He states that he believes that the Mahdi will appear at the end of time before Jesus alayhi salam, son of Mary. Jesus, son of Mary, comes down. So Imam Ibn Kathir states in chapter 6 of his book, Signs of the Day of Judgment, that he believes that the Mahdi will appear at the end of time before Jesus, son of Mary, comes down. So therefore, Brother Ibrahim, I don't know what stunt you're trying to pull, or what deception you're trying to pull on people. I don't know, you thought maybe I can't pull out some information. Maybe you underestimated me or something, or you underestimated me and my colleagues. You think everybody doesn't know anything? Imam Ibn Kathir never believed that La Mahdi illa Isa meant, he never believed that La Mahdi illa Isa meant that Jesus and the Mahdi are one character, one person. He never believed this. So you're misleading, this deceiving little statement you've put in your email there. This is false. So you're quoting Ibn Kathir as if he's in support of your view, of the Ahmadiyya view, when actually he's not. He believed that both of them are separate people. And even if you're saying, he believed that this hadith was weak, well then bringing Ibn Kathir into it is completely irrelevant, because again, he does not support the Ahmadiyya view. He does not support the view that the Mahdi and Isa alayhi salam are one character, one person. Imam Ibn Kathir believes they are two separate people, two separate characters, two separate entities. So please, you who are telling me I lack basic knowledge of Islam, you are now going into more detailed things of Islam, looking into sort of different imams and stuff. That's a bit more. It's above basic Islam, and you yourself are getting it wrong. So please don't insult people. Don't say things like lack basic knowledge and all this sort of stuff. When you yourself are misusing or misquoting a famous imam just to act as if he's a support for the Ahmadiyya view. No, he doesn't support the Ahmadiyya view. His view is not in line with the Ahmadiyya view of the Mahdi and Isa being one character. He believes they're separate people. So we carry on here. Obviously, I've made a few notes because the email covers a few things. So I'll just follow into my next point here. Obviously, just the final point with regards to that hadith. That hadith, many scholars either say it's da'if, which is weak. Some say it's mawdu', which means fabricated. And some say it's munkar, which is basically denied, So it doesn't bode well, does it? When this is a critical hadith for Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. It's so important. This hadith is probably, I don't know, if you had like a top 3 or something, this would definitely be in the top 3 important hadith for the validation of Mirza Ghulam's claim of him trying to say that he is the Mahdi and Prophet Jesus, two in one. And obviously we know that he's even claimed to be the second coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu and various other prophets as well. But let's just talk about Jesus and the Mahdi point. This hadith this hadith is held by most scholars that it's weak, fabricated, or munkar, which is just denied, something along the words of denied. So it doesn't bode well for the Ahmadiyya organization, does it really, or Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's claim? Such a weak hadith it has such importance for the validity of Mirza Ghulam's claim. This is the point I'm trying to get to. This brother Ibrahim says, I'm not aware of the primary. He says, you are not aware of the primary principles of a hadith, and that I simply listen to an imam or sheikh or a mullah or whatever. Unfortunately, this brother, he's taking Brother Ibrahim, you are taking a view. It's such a simple and stupid excuse that you're trying to label me. You're trying to label me as somebody who's just gone and got confused, or just went and took a view of another imam, and that's it, without checking Ahmadiyya out thoroughly. I checked out Ahmadiyya thoroughly. I was in it for 3.5 years. I believed in it, not in the stuff that I found out. I believed in the, let's say, the modern face of Ahmadiyya that I was told, and the things that I could read in Arabic or in English, but I don't know how to read Urdu, so I couldn't check the Urdu stuff out. So I believed in those, in the modern view of Ahmadiyya. I did not believe in the original beliefs that Mirza Ghulam held. I did not believe those things. So when I found that Mirza Ghulam had these beliefs, I left Ahmadiyya. But just to let you know, this is an insult to anybody who reads and leaves Ahmadiyya via research, to say to them that you just got, you went and a sheikh or an imam or a mullah or a mulvi, whatever you want to call them, a learned person, just told you some things and you left. This is even we cover this in one of our other videos, reasons why they may say you left Ahmadiyya. This is, it's nothing new, Brother Ibrahim. You've said just the same old. I don't know what's next. Obviously, any other of the list of things that people could just make up why you left Ahmadiyya. Maybe you're going to say that to me next. I don't know. So next point, you say to me, can you read Urdu, or can you even read Urdu? That's what you say. I've never ever claimed that I can read Urdu. So please, it's clear that you haven't even watched all our videos and checked everything out, because I say even more than once that I've always had to get people to translate it. This was before I left Ahmadiyya. After I've left Ahmadiyya, alhamdulillah, I've got access to quite a few very high standard, very eloquent Urdu speaking people. They have a very good vocabulary, they speak very well, they speak proper Urdu, not Punjabi or whatever. They speak properly, so they can read and they can translate for me. I know how to read Arabic and English. I know how to speak Arabic and English. I've never said, can I read Urdu, can I understand Urdu? So please, check our videos before you say such a thing to me. What's the next thing? This brother Ibrahim, he gets very upset as well, and he's making a point to say that when I quote that Mirza Ghulam makes the comparison between khushu', which is humility. The main translation of the word khushu', I'd say the main one would be humility, and it's something that, for example, in your state of prayer, when you're, let's say in your sujood, you're really at your lowest point before Allah, praying to Allah. You're trying to be the most humble. You're the humble that you can be. You're trying to remove all the worldly things out of your life. You're trying to feel that Allah's watching you right now, which He watches you all the time. But you're really feeling that closeness to Allah, and you're trying to be, how do you say, for example, trying to forget about all the material things in your life, that kind of thing. That level of humility, Mirza Ghulam obviously compared that khushu' and the crying that you may, sometimes when you're in your deepest, in khushu', you may cry, tears may roll down your eyes. He compared that to the ejaculation of sperm from the male genitals, from the man's private part. This is what Mirza Ghulam has compared that, and this is just a summary. If you see our other video, it starts with explicit Mirza Ghulam's comparison between humility and sexual intercourse. You can watch that video, and I advise you don't watch it with children. You will see that we've gone through the actual references. The actual references are there, by the way. We say the page numbers. We put the page up on screen. So that no member of Ahmadiyya organization can come to us and say you are lying, and where is the reference? And Brother Ibrahim, I note also that you have sent a YouTube comment on that video. And I'll quote exactly what it is, just for the surprise, because it's very surprising actually that you're a missionary and you say such a thing. Where's that page? Your YouTube comment. Now, Brother Ibrahim, you start first by saying LOL. You, missionary of Ahmadiyya organization, saying LOL, which means laugh out loud. And then I follow, this is what you say. So LOL, first learn to speak English. First learn to speak English. And I doubt you can read Urdu. Please give written references. So first of all, you are a missionary in the Ahmadiyya organization, and you take such a rubbish, weak shot at me and making it personal when I've never made anything personal. Me and my colleagues have never made anything personal to anybody in Ahmadiyya. The only people that we refer to are Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and sometimes Mirza Masroor, simply because he is the head of this organization and he is alive today, so he should be able to answer to this misguidance that is Ahmadiyya. So that's the only two people. We don't go and attack people personally. We don't say insults to them. Do you even know how to speak English? Do you know how to speak Urdu? Do you know how to speak Cantonese? Do you know how to speak anything? Do you even know your name? We don't say such insults to people. But you are a missionary in an Ahmadiyya organization, and you say, LOL, first learn to speak English. And I doubt you can read Urdu. Obviously, I've already explained. I can't read Urdu, and I've never claimed to have read Urdu. Okay? But first learn to speak English. Once again, I speak English and Arabic. Clearly, the viewers can hear my English is very clear and very. I think everything is straightforward. I don't have a heavy accent or anything like that. So I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. But it's just such a petty shot and a petty excuse, or a petty insult to try to say at somebody, rather than actually answer what we've written there. Sorry, what we've presented from Mirza Ghulam's pages. And then the funny thing is, this brother Ibrahim says, please give written references on that video, where all the references are on the video. The pages are on the screen. Scanned pages of Mirza Ghulam's actual book is on screen. Put it in HD and read it. Brother Ibrahim, if you know how to read Urdu and you're so fluent that you can understand that, go and read it. Put it in high definition and read it. The pages are there. So again, what do you mean, please give written references when everything is there? So please, again, you verify and check before jumping on the bandwagon. As you say in your email, you like saying bandwagon, you said that, didn't you? Please don't do that, and read what we show first, then answer it. And don't make it personal. Answer what Mirza Ghulam has written and don't make it personal. Because by you saying, can you read English or can you read Urdu, and all these sort of silly petty insults, that has not answered what Mirza Ghulam has written. That has not answered the faulty beliefs of Mirza Ghulam that take him out of Islam. His beliefs, for example, of being the second coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his coming being more complete and more greater than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These beliefs take Mirza Ghulam out of Islam. You can't be a Muslim and say that your coming is greater and more complete than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can't still say, I am a proper Muslim. That takes you out of Islam. So please check those things out really. Before you say such insults like that, please don't make it personal and just read everything first, then give a proper response and answer. Actually answer what Mirza is saying, rather than try to have a cheap little dig at somebody. What's the next? The next point I have here is, so obviously, as I began this whole point saying that this brother Ibrahim is upset because we give this translation of what Mirza Ghulam has written, and it's accurately translated. Alhamdulillah, I've had it verified by 3 different people. It's accurately translated, because obviously when I first heard it myself, I said, no, I have to get it checked because it's so explicit. I was thinking I have to be sure. And me and my colleagues, we've checked it, and 3 different people have said the same thing. So it's accurately translated. And this brother says, he basically now says that, have you not heard of the verse of the Quran where it states that people will have pure spouses in Jannah. In Jannah. Not on the dunya, in Jannah. So he's basically saying that I'm bringing what Mirza Ghulam wrote, this explicit, filthy writing of Mirza Ghulam that we have put in this previous video, as I said, this explicit video, where he talks about sperm being ejaculating from the male genital, the penis, and the way the sperm trickles out is similar to the way the tears roll down the eyes when someone is in the state of khushu'. And when the male genital part touches the female part, the female genital area from the outer part, and all this sort of stuff. I don't want to go into details because I'm not trying to make this video explicit. The other video is explicit, and you can go and watch that. And just in case children are watching this one, we don't want to make you get scared and block your children's ears or anything. But that comparison, that filthy comparison, that does not exist in the Quran. I don't think in any hadith even. Any true hadith, it does not exist. This filthy, disgusting, X-rated, it's adult content, man. It's adult content. This stuff is for adults, it's not for children. I don't even think an adult, even over 25 would still find it extremely uncomfortable to hear this kind of thing. It's extremely, and it's wrong. And any Muslim will tell you this is wrong. Any imam, any sheikh, any mullah, you tell him this sort of thing and you say, this man Mirza Ghulam has made this comparison between khushu', humility, and the ejaculation of sperm from the man's genitals and sexual intercourse, this comparison, he'll tell you this is completely wrong and filthy. So this brother Ibrahim tries to basically say that this is similar to where the Quran says that we'll have pure spouses in Jannah. How on earth is that relevant? You've completely given something totally, this brother Ibrahim has given something totally irrelevant. It has no connection. Is that verse in the Quran, is it describing sexual intercourse and the male genital touching the female genital and then the sperm trickling out? That sort of level of explicitness? No, it does not. So this is irrelevant what you've said here. And then the second part, this brother Ibrahim says there's also hadith in Bukhari where he says the Holy Prophet ﷺ is giving marital relation advice to the Sahaba or some Sahaba. This is a good thing, number one. And number two, that's not an explicit, filthy comparison. It's not extremely vivid and all this sort of thing. And Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ had to educate some people at that time because a lot of them were acted quite barbarically. That was before Islam, during Islam, even after Islam. So these people, they had to just be educated a little bit. This is education. What Mirza Ghulam did, that wasn't education. That's some X-rated, filthy, disgusting stuff. Comparing humility and with sexual intercourse and giving vivid descriptions. He didn't just say humility can be compared with sexual intercourse. He gave vivid, explicit descriptions of the private man's genitals, touching the female's genitals, sperm trickling out, all that sort of stuff. This is filthy and disgusting. So again, this brother Ibrahim has not, rather than say, yes, what Mirza Ghulam has written here, it's quite doubtful, it's something that is not good at all. I'm not going to try and defend it. No, he tries to defend it. And as well, by the way, for the viewers, this is a tactic that I've seen before. Basically, where I bring up something from Mirza Ghulam's writings, and the other person says, oh, the Quran says this, and the hadith says that. So if you go against that, you're insulting Sayyidina Muhammad, and you're insulting Allah. And this is what this brother Ibrahim has said in his email. He says, would you ridicule Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or insult and laugh at the Holy Prophet? So he's basically saying, if I say this thing, if I bring up this thing that Mirza Ghulam has written, about the comparing khushu' and sexual intercourse, I am basically ridiculing Allah. For example, because Allah's word, the Quran, where He says that you have pure spouses in Jannah, and then the hadith where he's quoted from Bukhari saying the Holy Prophet gives marital relations advice. He's saying that I would be insulting and laughing at the Holy Prophet ﷺ in this way. How is that? You see, this tactic, I've seen this before. So they make it out that if you I'm not trying to insult Mirza Ghulam, I'm just saying he wrote this and it's filthy. So he's saying if you bring up something against Mirza Ghulam, that means you are attacking or you're insulting the Holy Prophet. If you bring up something against Mirza Ghulam, again with this explicit thing he's written, you are insulting Allah, or you're saying something against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, Brother Ibrahim. Mirza Ghulam is not on the same level as Sayyidina Muhammad. Mirza Ghulam, Mirza Ghulam is an unverified claimant. Okay? He's not verified. As much as you think he's the promised Messiah and all this stuff, he's not verified at all. And I doubt you even checked. You joined this Ahmadiyya. I'm pretty sure that you didn't even see the Urdu stuff that we have presented, because I'm sure if you wanted to join Islam, you wouldn't have joined Ahmadiyya. Because if you knew those un-Islamic beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, you would not have wanted to join that. Because I'm sure you had a good intention that you wanted to join Islam. But this is unfortunately what you're in. You're in Ahmadiyya, and this is what Mirza Ghulam, his beliefs and his opinions, this is what he had. This is what he held. How he thought about things. And all these beliefs, as we've said in previous videos, are kept away from MTA. They're kept away from Friday khutbahs. They're kept away from all these ijtima'as that you have, these yearly jalsas, all this sort of thing that you've got, this Ahmadiyya organization has. All this stuff is kept away. So the ordinary Ahmadis don't even know what we are talking about right now. They don't know that this stuff exists in Mirza Ghulam's books, that he wrote this stuff, that he held these views. They don't even know. So I'm pretty sure that you didn't even know those things. So please verify those things. And if you want to answer, please give a relevant answer. Don't just think, let me see anything whatsoever to do with marriage or something in the Quran, and I'm going to quote that verse and throw it back in the person's face. That's irrelevant. Please give a relevant, accurate answer. And if there is no answer, just say the truth, or don't even say anything at all. Say the truth. Either say it's hard to answer this, or just ignore it. Say, I can't answer. But please don't start offering irrelevant stuff, and especially something from the Quran or from the hadith, just to verify the unverified or the unverifiable. You can't even verify Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. You can only verify that it's false. You can't verify that it's genuine. What's the next thing? A lovely indirect insult. Brother Ibrahim says that I have left the path of Islam. So because I've left Ahmadiyya, this Brother Ibrahim says that I have left the path of Islam. Again, I was called arrogant because by this Brother Ibrahim, because he says he thought I was right and everyone was wrong. By the way, I didn't think everyone was wrong. I believe the Ahmadiyya organization is wrong. Not all of the Muslims are wrong, so not everyone is wrong. But this point here, this brother just confirms again that if you leave Ahmadiyya, you leave the path of Islam. So you leave Islam if you leave Ahmadiyya. So the people who are not Ahmadi are not Muslim. This is nothing new. Unfortunately, it's nothing new. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad wrote, he's got his in his book of Tadhkirah, which he believes in its truthfulness, as he believes in the truthfulness of the Quran. This book called Tadhkirah. Mirza Ghulam says that anybody who rejects me or does not believe in me after receiving the call or whatever, he's not Muslim. So for example, I'm not Muslim, and anybody who hears about Ahmadiyya and refuses to accept Ahmadiyya is not Muslim. So Mirza Ghulam already has made everybody else, all the other Muslims, non-Muslim. You know, if you hear about the message of Ahmadiyya and you reject it, you're not a Muslim. Can you believe that? Brothers and sisters, can you believe that? And so anyway, this missionary, Ibrahim Noonan, makes a nice point and says, I've left the path of Islam. Again, just to show the air of superiority that the Ahmadiyya organization has, where it says to people that if you don't believe in Mirza Ghulam, but you believe in Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you believe in his sunnah, you believe in all the beautiful pillars of Islam, you do all the things to be a good Muslim, and that includes being a pure person from inside and not just the exterior things. You are still not a Muslim because you have rejected Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So, dear listeners, I thought I'd share that point as well, which is very, very entertaining for me, to be honest with you. And by the way, I've never even, I try to be fair. Me and my colleagues, well, I'm the main speaker, so unfortunately, you're always going to hear my voice in these videos because I'm the main speaker for this group. But we've always tried to be fair, and not just tried, we are fair towards Ahmadis who have not heard of these unacceptable writings of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. we are fair to them and we don't say to them that you're not following Islam. We say the people who have heard of these things, such like the things that we're showing in our videos and other things that are still to come, inshallah, the unacceptable beliefs of Mirza Ghulam that make him not Muslim because of those beliefs. Any Ahmadi who accepts those beliefs, how can they call themselves Muslim? So if they've read them and verified them and said, yes, I 100% believe that Mirza Ghulam's coming is more stronger and more complete than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If they say they believe that, well then you can't actually say you're Muslim anyway, because you can't, for example, say I'm still Muslim but I believe in 3 gods. La ilaha illallah, but Muhammad Rasulullah, but I also believe in 3 gods. Or I believe in 5 prophets after the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or I believe in the Quran but also this other man-made book afterwards. I'm still Muslim though, don't say I'm not Muslim. No, brother or sister, you're not Muslim. You can't be Muslim and do that. You have now made a whole new religion, so go make a new religion, call yourself something else, don't say Muslim. So we differentiate between Ahmadis who have read and verified and are happy to accept these un-Islamic beliefs. We then say to them, that's not Islamic and you can't call yourself a Muslim. But we know that the majority of Ahmadis have never heard of this stuff in their life, and they could be even 80 years old. They've never heard of this in their life. All they've ever heard are these nazms, these poems that Mirza Ghulam has written. They hear things like Mirza Ghulam saying he's the dust on Sayyidina Muhammad's feet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam's feet. This sort of stuff to show that he's such a subordinate prophet and he's totally in love with the Holy Prophet. They have never seen that he says that his coming is more complete and more stronger than the coming of our beloved final messenger of Islam, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The messenger, the prophet who was given the Quran, the word of Allah, the one who brought us the Sunnah, the one who brought us the way we live today and the way our ancestors have lived. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the way Mirza Ghulam's ancestors lived, the way his parents lived. Mirza Ghulam says his coming is more stronger and more complete than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's coming, which is the original Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So obviously normal Ahmadis have not heard this. And so we urge normal Ahmadis to check our videos out and never be offended by what we're saying, because we want you to verify. Please, if you find we are lying, then be offended. Say that we are lying. Say that, dear brother, you and your team, you're lying. That's why we're offended. But read the reference first, then tell me that you are lying. Then tell me that you're lying. And you've got every right to be offended if we're lying, but we are not lying. We are quoting exactly, showing you exactly from Mirza Ghulam's books, and sometimes from his son's books like Qamar al-Anbiya, and this sort of thing. Verified Ahmadiyya books, not somebody's opinion on Ahmadiyya or some mullah or sheikh's opinion on Ahmadiyya. And we do our best to show you the pages on screen so that you can see we are not making anything up. So there's nothing, we don't want any normal Ahmadis to be offended by this, because we're saying the truth. We're not lying and we're not just throwing an insult. We're showing actual proof. Again, on another point in the email is this brother Ibrahim says, maybe I've had bad experiences with some members of the Ahmadiyya organization. Again, it's labeling me, putting a label on me that, oh, you had a problem with people, that's maybe why you left. That's not why I left. I left because I read parts of Mirza Ghulam's books, which when you find those things, this nullifies my belief in Mirza Ghulam immediately. When I verified certain things, I left Ahmadiyya immediately, because I joined it really with a pure heart, thinking that it was true Islam. I didn't join it to deceive myself. I didn't join it for some worldly benefit. I joined it because I thought I was pleasing Allah and doing something good. I thought this man was the Mahdi. I didn't even know that he was calling himself a prophet until after I'd accepted Ahmadiyya. This point was kept away from me. It's not even on the bay'ah forms, this form where you sign, where you say I'm now Ahmadi and blah blah blah. It doesn't even say that he says he's a prophet. All that stuff is hidden. So when I found out certain things like that, I left immediately. So I left because of the writings. I joined it because of a pure intention, because of my questions about the Dajjal and all this sort of thing and the coming of the Mahdi. That's the reason why I joined it. But the main thing that I always said was that I never had a chance to check Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character out. because almost everything about his character was written in Urdu, and I couldn't check Urdu, and because I got this, how do you say, I was impatient with the way I went about my research. It is my fault, of course, for not insisting on getting someone paying an Urdu translator to translate some pages for me. But of course, even to be fair, I'm not even being fair on myself, because even at that time, I didn't even know where to look to begin with. So I had to go and verify this stuff, and this took a long time, and that's why I was in it for 3.5 years. Otherwise, I could have either never joined it, or if I knew where to look, I would have left very quickly after joining. So unfortunately, I found it a maze. It was a maze. It was very confusing. You see the way they keep telling you about Mirza Ghulam's love for Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ, and he's the champion of Islam and all this sort of thing. But then you actually see what his other writings that are hidden away from normal Ahmadis and hidden away from MTA, his actual other writings, his other beliefs. We see that and you say, oh my God, no way am I believing in this man. This is not what I thought I was getting into. You've changed the contract. You've changed the terms of the agreement. I'm getting out of this agreement. This is not what I agreed upon. I didn't agree to leave Islam. And Ahmadiyya, original beliefs of Ahmadiyya are not Islamic. So I'll never accept them. So I left based on my reading. But yeah, again, unfortunately, this brother, he's not the first person to try and label somebody, rather than say they read because of Mirza's writings, they left because of some other worldly dunya reason. This brother also says that Sufis he says Sufis don't pray with Salafis, and basically trying to say that look at how fragmented the ummah is, and how everybody's just so. Basically, the ummah is fragmented. Most Muslims have got so many problems, and as this he cites an example saying Salafis don't pray with Sufis, which I'm sure there must be some Sufis only that do this sort of thing, or some Salafis that do this sort of thing. But the point is, I'm not Salafi and I'm not Sufi, and I don't need to defend their position. They can make their own videos. If they hear this video, they can make their own video and explain their position. But let me directly answer to you, Brother Ibrahim, and anybody who is an Ahmadi listening to this thing. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, you're saying that Sufis and Salafis don't even pray together. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad has prohibited his followers from praying with any Muslims. Any Muslims. He has cut them off. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad has cut the Ahmadi people off from the rest of the Muslims. They are not supposed to pray with other people. They're not supposed to pray the janazah, the funeral prayer of other Muslims. So you tell me what's worse, cutting off the whole ummah, or you're giving me an example of a Salafi not praying with a Sufi, which has nothing to do with me anyway. But I'm just telling you, if you're going to give such an example, be prepared to hear what you already know, that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad has cut off his followers from the whole of the rest of the Muslims. And this Mirza Ghulam was meant to be the Imam Mahdi, the guided one, the one who's going to remove the confusions, the misconceptions, the bad habits that have entered into Islam. He's going to help the Muslims unite. He's going to help the Muslims remove the differences that they have. For example, as you say that Salafis and Sufis don't pray. Well, the guided one is supposed to help people be guided and unite them. But Mirza Ghulam Ahmad did the opposite. He divided. He took them away. He took the Ahmadi people away from the Ummah, the Muslim Ummah, and made them not pray with them. Even Eid is done on different days by the Ahmadi organization. So, you don't pray with them, you don't pray when they die. So what? You've completely cut off from all other sects. All other sects. This is what Ahmadiyya has done, this is what Mirza Ghulam has done. So when you give an example, please remember that point. Please remember that point right there. This brother also says to me, educate yourself in Islam before attacking Ahmadiyya. Once again, just like he said before, he says that I lack a basic knowledge in Islam. He says to me here, educate yourself in Islam before attacking Ahmadiyya. So, as I say before, you don't need to be a scholar, number one, to find out that Ahmadiyya is false. Because Ahmadiyya is false because Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is false. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character does not pass the test. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's personality and character were worse than most normal, average Muslims that you would know, like your friends, your brother, your sister. he was worse than many of them. Not all, there are some people that are a lot worse than him, of course. But some people that we know are of a better standard. You look at the way their morals, their akhlaq, their adab. You look and you compare that to Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and you say, oh my God, they're just regular people. This Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is worse than them, and he's claiming to be a prophet of Allah. A prophet of Allah in Islam. And he's claiming also to be the second coming of our beloved Holy Prophet. Our beloved, merciful, patient, intelligent, generous Prophet, Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This Mirza Ghulam says that his coming is more stronger and greater, more complete than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When from what you see, if you see our other videos, I'm sure any fair-minded person will say, oh my gosh, this guy's character is extremely bad. For example, the 5 and 50 saga, where Mirza Ghulam promised and he took money from people to publish, to write 50 volumes of books. And he took money from people, and because it took so many years, 23 years later, he'd only published 4, but he took money for 50. So he published the 5th one, and in that he explains to the people who were waiting for 50, he said, the only difference between 5 and 50 is a nokta, which nokta means dot, which means 0. The only difference between 5 and 50 is a 0. So, I fulfilled my obligation, and that's fine, that's it. And then when people asked for their refund, he said, oh, here, take your paltry coins that you're dying for. So, this person, if someone did that to you today and said to you, let's say you lend someone money, like £50,000, and you come back after 23 years and you say, here's £5,000. And you say, well, the only difference is a 0 because my Prophet Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, he did the same thing when he was supposed to give people 50 books. He said the difference was 0. So I'm only going to give you 5. So now I'm only going to give you £5,000. But I know I was supposed to give you 50,000. But I fulfilled my obligation. The difference is a 0. What do you think the other person is going to say to you? Do you think the other person is going to say, oh, what an honest human being. This is great. Don't give me 45,000 remaining. No, just give me the 5. It's fine. You're right. I'm the Dumbo. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that 5 and 50 are the same. I did not realize that. I'm really sorry. It's only a dot. So when you come and buy a house and it's £1 million and you go give him 100,000, it's missing a dot. But it doesn't matter. Here's 100,000. Come on. No, that's unacceptable. That's dishonest. It's dishonest and it's filthy. And it says a lot about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character, because it shows that this man, if he is capable of pulling the wool over his followers' eyes like that and conning them and saying, oh, the only difference is a 0, rather than be honest and say, I'm sorry. I whatever happened, I couldn't publish 50. I'm very sorry. Take your refund. If anybody who wishes to get their refund, please take your money. That's an honest way of doing it. And there would be no problem. I wouldn't even be mentioning it right now if that's what Mirza Ghulam did. But he didn't. He arrogantly just said, oh, I fulfilled my obligation, and 5, the 5 is acceptable basically, and 50, I don't have to give you 50. Where's the rest of the 45 volumes of books, Mirza Ghulam? You didn't give it to the people. So this is just one thing about his character. Another thing, this man wrote la'nat, the word curse, la'nat. He wrote that 1,000 times in one of his books. He wrote it 1,000 times. He didn't say 1,000 la'nas. He wrote the word, physically wrote the word on the page 1,000 times. La'na 1, la'na 2, la'na 3, la'na 4, la'na 5. All the way up to 1,000. This is that man who is claiming to be the reviver of Islam. He's claiming to be the second coming and the more complete and stronger coming of the original Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our beautiful beloved Prophet, our example for our life. This Mirza Ghulam says his coming is more stronger, more complete than that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that was given the whole of the religion of Islam. So these small things, these are just a couple of things. Even wishing, when he did the mubahala, which is his fault for making a mubahala anyway with this person called Abdullah Atam, a Christian missionary, back in India, obviously at the time, he made a mubahala with him that Abdullah Atam would die within 15 months. Abdullah Atam did not die within 15 months, and Abdullah Atam, the Christian missionary, he paraded around, that he's showing people that I didn't die, and that this Mirza Ghulam lost Well, the followers, Mirza Ghulam and his followers, Mirza Ghulam was actually encouraging his followers and to pray for Abdullah Atam's death. To pray for Abdullah Atam's death. Where is the mercy? Where's the rahmah of this man who says he is the second coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would never have done such a hideous thing to begin with. He would never have entered into such a stupid thing anyway. And to wish someone's death, Sayyidina Muhammad was so merciful and so patient. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be an example for billions of people around the world. He was so merciful and patient. He would wish hidayah for people. He would wish, may Allah forgive you. May Allah enlighten you. Right? This is what Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have done. But Mirza Ghulam wishes, hopes and wishes that this man dies. Why? Oh, to say that Islam is true. We don't need you, Mirza Ghulam, and your mubahla. We don't need it. Let this guy say whatever he's saying. You didn't need to go and wish his death. And you failed anyway. He was still alive, Abdullah Atam. So these are just like a couple of examples. What about something else? What about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, when he says to he tries to force his marriage to Muhammadi Begum, who he never ever married until he died. She was still married to her husband, who she married instead of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, look at this man's character. What did he say? He threatened his wife. Mirza Ghulam threatened his own wife that he would divorce her if she doesn't support his proposed marriage to Muhammadi Begum. He tried to force one of his sons to divorce his wife because she had some relation obviously to Muhammadi Begum's family. And then he threatened his other son that he would disown him because all three of these people, two of his sons and his wife, they were not supporting him in his proposed marriage to Muhammadi Begum. Muhammadi Begum didn't want to marry him, but he wanted to keep pushing it forward because he kept claiming that God told him that he's going to marry her. Again, that's a prophecy that failed. He never married her. And we've obviously got a whole video on this because it's more complicated than what I say. Not the points that I'm saying about his showing his character, but just to give it justice, you should check out our video and our other video there. We've got, I think it's quite extensive, and you can check all the details out, inshallah, there. So what I'm trying to say is look at this man's character, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character. Look at his character. You don't need to be a scholar to see that this man is not a Mahdi. He's not the Mahdi, sorry. He's not a prophet. And he 1,000 billion% is not the second coming of our beloved Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And his coming was definitely not stronger or more complete than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm sure normal Muslims who are hearing this from the video for the first time are actually very shocked. And they're thinking like, what's wrong with these Ahmadis? Why are they believing in a man who says his coming is more complete and stronger than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Well, the answer is, the Muslim listener, is that most Ahmadis have never read this part of Mirza Ghulam's books. They've never heard of it or read it. So they don't know that exists. They're kept away from it completely. So, this is a reason why you don't need to be a scholar. You don't need to be like this brother, obviously trying to put me down, and obviously attacking me personally because he's read my letter on the website. Obviously we've got our team of people, my colleagues here. We all do work towards showing the true beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, exposing it to the world. We all do work, but obviously he's aimed at me because my letters, I think it's the only letter that's on the website there. It's the only one because I've decided to put that letter up there to show other people, other Ahmadis and other Muslims who read it, to show the pain that I went through. The pain that I went through in believing that Ahmadiyya was true to begin with. The pain that I suffered because I had to struggle so much with my family and friends and other Muslim people to try to explain to them the viewpoints of Ahmadiyya and know, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is a non-law-bearing prophet. He doesn't break the seal of the Prophet. And all these stupid arguments that the Ahmadiyya organization has, I knew all of these arguments. I knew them all. And I used to try to defend that and explain this to people. And I used to lose my voice. And I used to get very upset sometimes. And my family, some of them, they lost respect for me, partial respect for me because of this. So I went through a lot of pain. But I said I will bear the pain because I thought that Ahmadiyya was true. I thought that I'm doing this for the sake of Allah and this is good. I'm doing the right thing, I thought that everyone else didn't understand anything. So I wrote my letter and it's filled with a lot of anger. This brother Ibrahim probably thinks, oh, that's very arrogant because he says that my letter is showing a lot of arrogance and stuff. My writing shows a lot of arrogance. It's not arrogance. When you are complaining about something that has been done to you, you're going to say, I suffered and I blah blah blah, and then you find out, and then you explain, I found out that it's falsehood. Of course you're going to be you're going to be very angry. You're going to express that on your letter or on your whatever medium you use to express your grievance. If it's going to be a phone call or a letter, I did it on a letter and I sent it to Mirza Masroor, the head of Ahmadiyya. So obviously, who do you want? Who am I supposed to address to? Of course it's going to be to Mirza Masroor, even though I'm more angry at Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, but I can't bring Mirza Ghulam Ahmad back from the grave and give him a piece of my mind, obviously, and shout at him and explain to him how dare he deceive me and so many people, because I'm the one who got deceived. I got deceived. Just like many other people got deceived and left Ahmadiyya, or many other people born into Ahmadiyya and got this and found out that they were being deceived and they left. Of course you're going to be angry. Of course you're going to be passionate. When you care about your deen so much, when you care about Islam so much, and you are only joined Ahmadiyya, I only joined Ahmadiyya to think that I'm improving my Islam, that I'm upgrading, let's say, myself. I'm raising my level. And then you find out that I've actually left Islam because I'm believing in Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who had un-Islamic beliefs, who you can't call him a Muslim, but I kept thinking he's the Mahdi. So I never knew these beliefs I never knew and I never accepted those un-Islamic beliefs. But when you find out that you are following such a horrible man with un-Islamic beliefs, you are going to be so angry. And obviously all this anger is expressed on my letter. I'm not just going to leave quietly. I want to tell people and warn people, just like my colleagues and other people who've got other websites explaining, showing the writings of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and showing the truth about the Ahmadiyya organization. We want to warn people because I don't want another Osama Sayyid to go and get sucked into Ahmadiyya and make a mistake. I don't want that. My colleagues don't want that. Many other people around the world who are putting effort to expose Ahmadiyya, they don't want people to get confused and join Ahmadiyya. So we're just trying to say to people, these are the original beliefs of Ahmadiyya. These are the true beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Please be aware. Before you say, I'm accepting Ahmadiyya, read these, check these writings that Mirza Ghulam has written. Check them before you say, I accept Ahmadiyya. 99% of the people will say, oh no, I'm not accepting Ahmadiyya. This is what this man's written. These are his original beliefs. No, thank you. I do not want that. They're claiming, Ahmadiyya is the true Islam, but then Mirza Ghulam is writing all this stuff. No way, this is not true Islam. That's a lie. That's a lie. This is deception. I'm not joining Ahmadiyya. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to warn people. We just want to warn people. And brother Ibrahim, if you ever see this video, you well done for joining Islam to begin with, but a very not well done actually for joining Ahmadiyya. You need to check what we're showing in our other videos. Look at the references. Go check them out. Okay, with no arrogance. I'm not being arrogant here. We're not being arrogant here. Okay, this is not a personal attack or nothing. This is actually a positive message that I'm saying on behalf of my colleagues as well. People like yourself, please go and check the writings that we have put on our videos. The references, the pages are on screen, so please don't say, oh, give me the reference. The reference is right there. Look at the page number. I even read out what book it's from anyway, and you can pause the video. You can look at the page number. As I said before, make sure it's in high definition. You will see clearly all the words. You will also see the page numbers and the book name on the top left corner. So go check them out yourself. Go check them out and then save yourself some pain. Because you're going to sit there for years in Ahmadiyya fighting with other Muslims trying to say that they're wrong, and talking about all these other hadith. And let's talk about Surah Al-Jum'ah, وَآخَرِينَ مِنْهُمْ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ, and all this stuff, and keep talking about that stuff. When if you just check Mirza Ghulam's writings, what we're showing, you will see that Ahmadiyya is not true anyway. You will save yourself a lot of pain, a lot of headache, a lot of arguing and debating, unnecessary debating and arguing you can just save yourself that time. Go read these things that we've got. Check them out. And inshallah, give yourself some peace. Because I gave myself peace, and many other people gave themselves peace when they found out the truth of Mirza Ghulam's beliefs and his writings. So you see, no personal attacks here. This is a compassionate plea to you and to anybody else who is like you, who joined Ahmadiyya thinking it is really true Islam, but without checking the writings of Mirza Ghulam and verifying the original beliefs of Mirza Ghulam of Qadian. So please do that. And remember, please don't make it personal. What's the next point here? Obviously, Brother Ibrahim, you say that maybe I saw some bad examples of Ahmadis. Well, I wonder and I hope you didn't see some bad examples of Muslims. So you thought that, oh, look at Ahmadiyya, the Ahmadiyya people on the outside, a lot of them seem like they're very much better Muslims or whatever. I don't know what you thought. I hope that didn't happen to you, because it's not fair. If you want to say, oh, you saw some bad Muslims, well then what would you say if you read the stuff we're showing about Mirza Ghulam's writings, the quotes that we're showing? You will see Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character is so bad that you will say, oh my God, I'd rather be with the Muslims, with all the problems that we have or whatever, but I can't, at least you know one thing, you will know that Mirza Ghulam is false, so you will know that Ahmadiyya is falsehood. And I'm saying this also to anybody else, not just this brother Ibrahim who's emailed us. I'm saying it to everybody, anybody else. Remove falsehood. If you know something 100% sure, you're sure 100% that something is false, remove it from your life. Don't say, no, I can't leave Ahmadiyya, even though you've checked it's false, because you say, oh, the other Muslims look like they're fragmented. Well, brother and sister and anyone who's listening, you are going to join the Muslims. You're just going to be a Muslim. Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ was just a Muslim. He didn't have a sect. The religion just came. Do you think there's already a sect when he's just come? He's just Muslim. I am just a Muslim. My colleagues who left Ahmadiyya, they're just Muslim. We do not want to attach ourselves to a sect. We don't want to say, oh no, we're not praying with you, or any stupid thing like that. We are trying to follow as much as we can in this modern world where there's so many difficulties and challenges we face, to follow the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're trying to be like the Holy Prophet in all his positive attributes, all his great, the great person that he was. We're trying to be, I'm sure we're just a fraction of that, of course, but we're trying to be, he's our example, we're trying to be something like Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never going to be like him, but we're trying to attain, we're hoping, dreaming, trying our best to improve our characters and be better human beings. Because let's face it, that's the whole purpose of religion, by the way. Is to give you a message and to reform you and make you a better human being. Not to give you Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who uses words such as haram zada, who writes 1,000 la'nas, who gives you a comparison of khushu' and the ejaculation of sperm of the male genitals, who says to you, I will give you 50 volumes, and gives you 5 and says that's it, the only difference is a 0. That sort of thing, that doesn't make a human being good. That's actually a very, very poor example of a human being. That's a very poor example. So then why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send a man like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad to human beings to reform them, when Mirza Ghulam Ahmad himself was of a very, very poor standard? He was of a very poor standard. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad needs someone like Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to come and reform him. That's what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad needs. He needs someone to come and teach him and say, Mirza, this is wrong. You don't promise 50 and just give 5. Mirza, this is wrong. Mirza, don't drink arak. Arak is a high concentration, high alcoholic concentration drink that Mirza Ghulam used to drink and used to make himself back in Qadian. And Mirza also used to take opium at some points, be it for medical or not. This is a drug. Opium is where you get heroin from. And anybody, you can go and research and see what the effects of opium are. Well, Mirza Ghulam had those effects. So, you don't show, and then, you show all his failed prophecies. His character of force, you show a lot about his character when he's trying to force Ahmadiyya Begum to marry him. As I said just moments ago, threatening his wife that he would divorce her, trying to force his son to divorce his wife, and threatening to disown his other son. These are horrible. That's not, God did not intend that human beings should get the message of Islam to act like Mirza Ghulam. They never intended it. And then Mirza Ghulam comes and says that his coming is more complete and stronger than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Preposterous. That's unbelievable. That's like saying, I don't know what to say to you. It's like getting a regular person off the street and saying, hey, this is like the greatest scholar of the world. This is the greatest footballer of the world. This guy's an astronaut and it's a toddler or something. You know, you can't say such a preposterous thing. It's totally wrong. Totally wrong. Not immorally. No, I mean wrong as in incorrect. Mirza Ghulam is a poor example of a human being. How on earth can he be the second coming of that beautiful holy Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad? How can he be? I would never follow Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's character. That's a horrible character. Horrible personality. You know, so this is something that is very, very important to understand and remember, that the religion of Islam came, just like all other religions, just like Christianity came and Judaism, it came to reform the human beings at the time, and obviously Islam was a message at that time and forever. Because there's going to be no more Sharia, no more message coming after the Quran and the message of Islam until the end of time. So it came to make us better human beings. And yet you get a man called Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian who acts like this, as I've mentioned before, and as you see all the things, and he had all the un-Islamic beliefs that we've mentioned in our previous videos. And he's meant to be the example. He's meant to be your example. Allah would never send such a horrible, poor example of a human being and then cause him to die of cholera, of profuse vomiting and diarrhea. This is how Mirza Ghulam died. He died while vomiting and with a lot of vomiting, a lot of diarrhea, which led to dehydration of the body. He had no more water left in his body and he died. So at the end of all the stuff that we're showing you about this man's life, and then he also died in such a torturous way. It was such a horrible way that he died. Such a horrible way. And a key point to note is that Mirza Ghulam wished cholera, he wished this illness on I think one or more of his enemies. I think maybe Sana al-Amritsari, I'm not sure, but one or more of his enemies who basically were just telling him, we don't believe you, you're not the real Mahdi, you're a liar. So he used to wish cholera on them, but he himself died of this cholera. He himself died of diarrhea and vomiting, which are the symptoms of cholera, which causes dehydration and you die. This is how he died. So why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send such a man? You see, we don't need to talk about a hadith. We don't need to talk about Surah Al-Jum'ah and the twisted interpretation the Ahmadiyya organization gives to the word of Allah. Of course, the Arabic is still the same, but they've twisted the interpretation completely and tried to say this is the second coming of Muhammad, and that second coming is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. And then we also hear, so many other lies, either from twisted translations or an outright lie where Mirza says that Qadian is mentioned in the Quran. So you get all this sort of stuff, and coming back to my main point, you look at the reason Allah sent Islam and He sent previous religions, Christianity and Judaism, and you realize that this man can never be sent by God. He's a horrible example. This Mirza Ghulam kept saying to his followers, he didn't keep saying it, he wrote it in one of his books, that he would sacrifice his life and wealth for the sake of the British colonialists, the invaders of India, the ones who stole and bled India dry and then just left it after the world started rejecting colonialism and hegemony and all this sort of thing. They said, okay, we'll have to leave because the world has gone against it now. We can't just, take over countries and just take all their wealth and their resources and just give a little bit back, but take the most out of it and give it and bring it back to our country to develop their own country. This is only, they left in the 1940s. It's only because the popular opinion went against this. And obviously you can see in our previous videos about the Mirza's love for the unjust British rulers in India. Obviously we're talking about the British India. We're talking about Queen Elizabeth's reign, and then prior to that, the East India Company's rule over India. So he wrote these sort of things in his books. You know, he tried to raise money for the wounded British soldiers in the Transvaal War in South Africa. The British soldiers who went there to steal the gold and diamonds from that area of South Africa, the Transvaal, they got wounded trying to steal. And Mirza Ghulam was trying to raise funds for those people, those soldiers who got wounded, and trying to pray for them, trying to get his followers as well to pray for them. Is this the Hakam and Adalan? Is this that just Mahdi that Muslims are expecting? Justice. Where's the justice? He's taking the side of the invaders, the unjust invaders, the thieves. The biggest opium dealers in recent history was the British Empire, and we've got the facts and we've shown it in our video. Obviously we're talking about the 19th century and prior to that, and obviously early 20th century as well. We're not talking about modern day Britain, we're talking about in the past. But that's the Britain that Mirza Ghulam was talking about. So you see all this sort of thing and you say, why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send such a man to be the Mahdi and also to be the second coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How on earth can this sort of thing to be there? We've got, there are more other points as well. You know, from the email. And I wanted to say something that to any people who have joined Ahmadiyya, and you know, you may feel that, you know, your families have maybe disowned you or something like that, or some parts of your family have disowned you. You may feel that it's too late to turn back, and that you've spent too many years in Ahmadiyya, and it's just too difficult now for you to leave. Please don't think that, and give yourself some courage, find some courage and trust in Allah, and try to realize that this is not going to go away. Ahmadiyya belief is the Ahmadiyya belief. It's still going to stay there. So if you bury your head in the sand and just keep ignoring it and keep going to all your meetings and keep saying no, Mirza Ghulam loved the Holy Prophet, Mirza Ghulam loved the Holy Prophet, if you just keep tricking yourself, you're not going to trick yourself. It's not going to work. You trick yourself temporarily, but for example, if you live a long life and you're on your deathbed and you feel you're close to dying, you're going to remember it then. So why not cut to the chase? Get straight to the point. Check the original beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Check them out, and 99% of you will say that there's no way I believe in this. And the next point that I wanted to say was that it's a point about a person called Sadat Anwar, who had a sort of a debate, I guess you can call it a debate, on the 13th of December 2013. He had a debate, and I just want to say, what an example, mashallah, what an example this person was. He had a debate with an Ahmadiyya missionary called Ansar Raza. This brother called Sadat Anwar is from Canada, Toronto, Canada. And I want to say, if you ever hear this, brother Sadat, mashallah, you did very well. You held yourself so well for a person that is considerably younger than this Ansar Raza. You were considerably younger than him, but you held yourself so well. You showed such a high level of patience. You showed a lot of adab as well. A lot of, you were very polite. And even though you made some very good points, which alhamdulillah we've all heard of before, but it was excellent to hear you saying it during the debate to alert people, that this is what Mirza Ghulam has he believed in, and what he wrote, and other things about his life. So we were very saddened. Me and my colleagues, we watched the whole thing, and we were a bit saddened, a bit offended on your behalf, actually, that this last speaker, who wasn't in the debate, he was just the last speaker, he's an elder gentleman, he referred to you as ignorant in a jokey way. You and the Christian person that you were debating with before, in another debate, he referred to you as ignorant just because you said you're not a scholar. And we all were dumbfounded. We were so offended on your behalf. We were saying, how dare they say that, and how arrogant they say that. So this Ansar Raza, he called himself a scholar, in this debate. And the funny thing is, Ansar Raza, who made you a scholar? The Ahmadiyya organization. The Ahmadiyya organization is not even recognized as Muslim anyway. You know, this is get straight to the point. So it wasn't like, for example, Al-Azhar in Egypt, for example, who've made you a scholar, who have said, yes, you have attained the level of a scholar, you've got this much knowledge. No, it's the Ahmadiyya organization. The Ahmadiyya organization that is founded by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who had un-Islamic beliefs. So this Ansar Raza arrogantly says, I'm a scholar and the other one's not a scholar. Sadat Anwar is not a scholar. Sadat Anwar says he's not a scholar. Of course I believe him, there's no reason not to believe him. But he clearly has good knowledge. He's got a lot of relevant knowledge. This is the key point. Ansar Raza he failed to answer a lot of the things that Sadat Anwar stated. And this is a regular thing that I've seen myself, that you don't get answers from the Ahmadiyya missionaries or the Ahmadiyya organization. You get a personal attack. You get an insult like, oh, you're ignorant, or you're not a scholar, or something like that. That's not going to shut anybody up. It won't shut this brother Sadat Anwar up, it won't shut me up, it won't shut my colleagues up, it won't shut other people up who are bringing up the truth of Mirza Ghulam. Answer what they're showing you. Answer the writings that they are showing you. Don't say to them, you are ignorant, you're not a scholar. Do you speak English? Oh, you're not even very clear, are you? Are you a thief? Are you a murderer? How is that relevant? The writings of Mirza Ghulam are still there in front of you, either on screen or on a paper right in front of you. Please answer that. Don't make it personal, and don't resort to playground tactics that you see in schools. You know, you see children, rather than answer something, they'll say, oh, you know, they'll insult your mother, or say, oh, you're fat, or you're short, or whatever, you're skinny, or something stupid like that. Answer what is written. Answer what is being asked. For example, you bring someone, you say, what do you think? We know that many things that Mirza Ghulam has written, they're unanswerable. We know that you can't actually answer them, because the only response you should give is, oh, this is so un-Islamic and this is unacceptable. Not, oh no, are you familiar with this hadith or this verse of the Quran or something like that, to try and twist it and make it out that verse is similar to what Mirza Ghulam has written. So, you know, the main thing is, don't make it personal. You know, you have to say, you have to answer what people are presenting to you, and don't make it personal. You know, as I said before, I've never made it personal to anybody except for Mirza Ghulam and Mirza Masroor, because Mirza Masroor is the current head. Mirza Ghulam is the person who wrote all these unacceptable things and has led so many people to be led astray, and has cut so many families apart. You know, so many people who have accepted Ahmadiyya, so many of them have not prayed the janazah prayer of some of their relatives who are normal Muslims. They didn't pray it because the Ahmadiyya organization tells them you don't pray with them. So their family member died, and some of the Ahmadi people did not go and pray the funeral prayer of their family member, who is now dead. Not just, you know, got slightly injured and he'll recover. He's dead, or she's dead. This is what Mirza Ghulam has brought. This is how Mirza Ghulam has affected people's lives. He's ruined people's lives. He's made people get divorced. Like, for example, some people, the man may leave Ahmadiyya. You know, the wife wants a divorce from him because he left Ahmadiyya. After being enlightened, he leaves Ahmadiyya. So then you've ripped the family apart. Then the children don't have their father and their mother in the same house anymore. The mother might get remarried. The father might get remarried. You've split families apart. This is what Mirza Ghulam has done. And the big deception is that the Ahmadiyya organization keeps saying that everything we talk about is the truth. That they keep saying that everything we say is verified. Everything we say is clear. It is clear signs. It is clear this. Anybody out there who's checking out our references, and sees, for example, the translation, if you get an Ahmadi Quran, like a modern translation one, and go to Surah Al-Jum'ah and see وَآخَرِينَ مِنْهُمْ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ, this verse, they've translated it into that Sayyidina Muhammad is going to come again, which is, no Muslims have that belief. Number two, they also say that, because of the Salman al-Farisi point, that Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hand on Salman al-Farisi when he was asked, which people would, who are the latter day people, and then he explained that Salman al-Farisi, Salman the Persian, would bring the faith back even if it was in the Pallades. So, this is basically saying, Mirza Ghulam is saying, yes, because I am Persian descent, and so you're using the verse for two things. You're saying, we're using it to show that Mirza Ghulam is that Salman al-Farisi, he's the Persian guy, and also, the second guy, the verse is being used to say the second coming of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you're saying, you're using the verse for two different things, and not only that, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is originally Mughal, not Persian. Mirza Ghulam he's Mughal, he's not Persian. But unfortunately, a lot of the Ahmadis are told that he's from Persian descent. That's it, cut and dried, very clear, very clear. He's from Persian descent. And so that's why this verse pertains to him. So Ahmadiyya belief is not clear at all. It's not clear at all. You've got all the, I don't know. I mean, this video is supposed to be, if I go through so many other things that I know, the video is going to be like 3 hours long. You've got the whole sun and moon eclipse, which was never a miracle. It was never a miracle. The hadith, the Arabic wording, has the English translation the Ahmadiyya organization gives. They've added words into the Arabic wording of it, and it's not even a hadith of Sayyidina Muhammad. It's Muhammad bin Ali, some other guy. It's not the Holy Prophet saying it. That's one thing. So that's a fraud. This eclipse thing, this is a fraud that they're pulling over the Ahmadis to say, this is a sign of God. You see, you don't need to read anything about Ahmadiyya. Just believe us. Look, there was a sign. You see, heavenly sign. Heavenly sign. That's it. Accept it. Don't read anything. Just believe us. This plague that happened in India, it was already there 2 years before Mirza Ghulam prophesied it. It was already in Bombay, in India. 2 years before he said it. So how was that a prophecy? How did Allah tell him that? So there's so many things where they say to clear signs and all this, and they just keep quoting you Lake Ram and all this stuff, and these little prophecies. More like guesses. Mirza Ghulam was not from Allah, and you can see all this stuff that shows he's not from Allah. So please, be fair to yourself. Give yourself, do justice to yourself. If, for example, you have been split from your family, or you're confused, and you think that Ahmadiyya there's something wrong, but you don't know, please just check our videos out. Read the pages that we're showing from Mirza Ghulam's books. It really does say it there. If you don't know how to read Urdu, please get someone that you can trust who will read the Urdu for you. Please get someone who you can trust, and they'll read the Urdu for you and verify it. And I'm sure 99% that you'll say, I don't believe in Ahmadiyya. And then obviously you're going to face another challenge, which is, how do you tell people you don't believe in Ahmadiyya? Which is a very big step, of course, because unfortunately a lot of people who leave Ahmadiyya, they get cut off. The other Ahmadi people don't ever talk to you again. This is not 100% of the cases, but most of the cases, they don't want to talk to you anymore. So obviously you face some challenges, but remember, you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final point that I wanted to say is that Ahmadiyya missionaries, like for example, is Ansar Raza calling himself a scholar, and then this brother Ibrahim Noonan, who's he's a missionary, so obviously he believes he's quite learned as well. Well, I mean, you spent so much time learning about a hadith and spent so much time learning about Quran. This is excellent. This is what every Muslim should do. But clearly, you haven't been able to answer or give a proper response to people who have asked in the past in debates or emails or whatever. I'm not just saying this to Brother Ibrahim, I'm saying it to other people, this Ansar Raza and any other missionaries from the Ahmadiyya organization. You spend so much time in learning the hadith and the Quran, all this sort of stuff. Very good. That's, you're claiming that you know this, by the way, because you haven't been verified by a big school. You've made yourself scholars. Your own organization has made you a scholar. But let's just say you've reached a good level, okay? You clearly haven't reached a good level with Mirza Ghulam's books. Read them first. Learn everything that Mirza Ghulam believed and held, all his beliefs and his opinions and events that happened to him and all that sort of stuff. Then come and start talking about hadith. Because once you start reading Mirza Ghulam's books and you start addressing, for example, the things that we are showing, you will see that there's no need to even say let's look at the hadith about the coming of the Prophet Isa or the coming of the Mahdi. You won't have to talk about hadith. You won't have to talk about any surah or ayah from the Quran, like the ayah from Surah Al-Jum'ah, which the Ahmadiyya organization has taken to twist it, to make it out as if Sayyidina Muhammad's going to come back for a second time and all this sort of stuff. You won't need to go there. That's why I always maintain that you do not have to be a scholar to see that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was not from Allah, and effectively to see that Ahmadiyya is not true Islam and it's not from God at all. You don't need to be a scholar, because you can just see from these writings, you can see the beliefs of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, his character, his personality, his traits. You can read a lot into it. Like for example, if I swear right now in this video, you are entitled to say, this guy's quite rude, actually, he's rude. No, I don't think this guy, is of good character. Let's say if I say a very bad swear word. Well, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said haram zada, he said walad haram, he's used these sort of terms, 1,000 la'nas, you see his stuff about 5 and 50, etc., etc. I'm not going to go through everything again. You see all of that, and you will see straight away that why should you bother looking into the hadith when this man never can be the example? He can never be that Mahdi that is prophesied. He never can be that Mahdi. So we don't even need to talk about hadith or Quran. This is why I say, and I've repeated this several times in this video, you don't need to be a scholar to see that Mirza Ghulam is not from Allah. And inshallah, we want you to keep checking our videos out. And Bismillah, stay tuned. We're going to make more videos. There are still more things to present. And Bismillah, please give your comments. This is a final message I have to say to any Ahmadi missionaries or responsible people. This is the main reason we have put this email up on screen from the beginning of the video and responded to this email this time. Is number one, we've put the email up on screen to show that we haven't made this email up and we're not lying. So we have to show who it's come from and what they've written, so that the Ahmadiyya organization doesn't say, oh, he's lying, he's making it up. So that's number one. Number two, we have done this to say, don't make it personal. Don't make any personal attacks. If you want to write an email, you want to respond to us or make a comment, say something that is true. Say a truth. قولوا قولا سديدا. Alright? I'll say it again. قولوا قولا سديدا. Don't go around in circles or try to change a subject, because I'm still going to remember what we're talking about and I'll come back and say, can you answer this? You haven't answered it. We're not going to forget that. So please, say the straight word. Say the straight word. We are commanded as Muslims to say the straight word. Show some integrity and honesty in when you're saying something. Like this brother Ibrahim earlier said that Ibn Kathir has the same view. Ibn Kathir does not have the same view. Ibn Kathir believed that the Mahdi and Isa are two separate people. And I've already said that in a video. So that's not saying the straight word. This brother didn't say the straight word. This brother tried to quote a big scholar and tried to mislead or confuse you and think that, oh, I've quoted a big scholar to back me up there. When this big scholar actually does not back your view up, and he does not back the Ahmadiyya view up. So please, قولوا قولا سديدا. Otherwise, don't email, don't contact. Because we're not here to have a personal, we don't have a personal vendetta against anybody. It's just simply against Mirza Ghulam, who's brought this message. He has to bear this criticism, because he's coming out and saying, I'm a prophet, and don't pray with other Muslims. Always. He has to bear this scrutiny. He's not just a regular guy that we're scrutinizing from top to toe and we're being really unfair on him. No, we're not. This he put himself up to be scrutinized. Because when someone comes and he says that I'm a Mahdi or I'm a prophet or anything to do with Allah, that God sent me in any capacity, you have to verify that person. You cannot just say to them, oh, when the Mahdi comes, just go and accept him and do bay'ah, even if you have to crawl over the glaciers. That you don't just say that, you have to say, check this guy's character out. Common sense. Common sense. Islam does not tell us to forget our common sense at the door. In fact, Islam is all about logic and common sense. Islam tells us to do things and not do things because of common sense. To be sensible. Like, don't drink alcohol because you'll get intoxicated. You'll get drunk. You might make mistakes. You could kill yourself. You could kill other people. You could, for example, because you'll lose your sense of control. So it's common sense. So we use our common sense to check out this person's character. And that's what we have done by checking out and quoting things from his writings to say, If this person has said such and such a thing in his writings, clearly he can never be from Allah. That's what we're doing, that's what we're saying. So it's nothing personal. So please, any Ahmadi, even Ahmadi normal people, I'm sure some of you, you get upset and you take it really personal, and you think, oh, I'm going to fire off and insult this guy. Well, good luck with the insult. First of all, it's going to be ignored. It means nothing to us, okay? It will mean something to us if you say something truthful to us. Like say, I've read it and I've checked it out. And even try to offer an answer, but be honest about it, if there is an answer. If there's no answer, say the truth. Say, actually, I can't answer this because it's quite, it's quite serious, quite doubtful, whatever you want to say. So future emails that have going to have abuse in them, like this brother Ibrahim, he's put himself, he's told me things like, do you even know English? And you lack basic knowledge of Islam. These are insults at me, because if I said that to you, you're going to feel that that's an insult, right? And obviously it's quite offensive. I mean, trying to make it personal, and it's unnecessary, because you haven't answered anything really from what is written in Mirza Ghulam's books that we are quoting. So please answer them. In future, we're not going to answer these emails. We won't give a response, to that. We will give a response if someone gives a better, like an honest attempt at an answer, not a dishonest attempt at an answer just to try to shut us up, or just say, oh, here you go and go away. No, give an honest attempt. Then we could give a video. But any emails are gonna have insults, we're gonna ignore them. We're all busy. We all have work. We're all trying to make a living in this world, so we don't have time, and we also don't need to give ourselves the headache of reading an email where someone says, "Oh, you can't speak English," or "Learn how to speak thingy," and "Learn your name first," and all this sort of stupid stuff. I mean, I could easily be arrogant and start saying a few things about myself that maybe an arrogant person would say to try to get credit in front of society. Talk about your education, talk about your lineage, or whatever you want to call it, or your ancestors, that sort of thing. I'm not going to say anything about that stuff, because that would be me being purely arrogant. Purely arrogant. And so I'm not going to do that. Inshallah, this is an Islamic discussion, it's an Islamic presentation. We are trying to be good Muslims, we are trying to be good human beings, we're trying to be more patient, more understanding, more kind towards people, more generous towards people. That's what I'm trying to do, that, and most Muslims of the world are trying to do this. That's what we want to do. We don't want to start insulting people personally. I'm sorry, yeah, we speak very frankly about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. We say, yes, he's not a Muslim because of his beliefs and all that kind of thing. But that's because if you read it yourself, you'll see for yourself these are un-Islamic. But we never say personally this man or this man or this man. We don't say personally, because it's not meant to be personal. This is meant to be talking about the truth, not about falsehood. We are just trying to enlighten people, because we are now enlightened. Alhamdulillah, we are enlightened by realizing that Ahmadiyya is false. We are enlightened, me and my colleagues and all the people putting in an honest effort to expose Ahmadiyya. Not the people who misquote things, because we know some people, unfortunately, they misquote things that Mirza Ghulam's written, and it comes across as if they're lying because they haven't put enough effort to quote properly. No, we're talking about the honest people who are doing a good job, a sincere job. We're just trying to enlighten you just as we have become enlightened. So please, nothing personal. And inshallah, please check our videos out. And that brings us to an end for this. We speak very frankly about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. We say, yes, he's not a Muslim because of his beliefs and all that kind of thing. But that's because if you read it yourself, you'll see for yourself these are un-Islamic. But we never say personally this man or this man or this man. We don't say personally, because it's not meant to be personal. This is meant to be talking about the truth, not about falsehood. We're just trying to enlighten people, because we are now enlightened. Alhamdulillah, we are enlightened by realizing that Ahmadiyya is false. We are enlightened, me and my colleagues and all the people putting in an honest effort to expose Ahmadiyya. Not the people who misquote things, because we know some people, unfortunately, they misquote things that Mirza Ghulam's written, and it comes across as if they're lying because they haven't put enough effort to quote properly. No, we're talking about the honest people who are doing a good job, a sincere job. We're just trying to enlighten you just as we have become enlightened. So please, nothing personal. And inshallah, please check our videos out. And that brings us to an end for this video. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Osama Sayyid from Islam After Ahmadiyya.